Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Let's start. What were we doing the last time? We were doing the mechanism for addition elimination reactions, right?
Yes.
And we were on hydrolysis where we react a molecule of water with your acyl chloride, and this is how it takes place. कि पहले addition होती है of the water molecule. Electrons from oxygen come here. This bond breaks heterolytically, and once this is joined, these electrons come back again. फिर इसमें एक एक्स्ट्रा स्टेप क्यों होता है? Because the water molecule has a hydrogen. तो ये hydrogen reacts with the chlorine from your acyl chloride. Yeah, exactly. And then it forms an HCl molecule, right?
Yes.
So this is an extra step in this hydrolysis reaction. The third reaction we need to do is for NH3. Here we have our acyl chloride. Okay, now this is going to react with an NH3. So NH3 का molecule here. This is your addition step. Okay, so this reacts. Okay, this comes close to your carbon. This has a lone pair. Comes close to carbon. Wants to form a dative bond. Okay, carbon पे partial positive, oxygen पे partial negative, and fluorine पे also partial negative. Okay, these electrons move back to oxygen for the time being, and then ये molecule attach हो जाता है. ठीक है, and then these electrons come back, right? And this bond breaks heterolytically because chlorine needs to break off, right?
Yes.
So bond breaks heterolytically, and what do you get is this with your N that has 3 hydrogens, okay? And then these 3 hydrogens, you have a chlorine molecule, ये वाला. When this breaks off, this reacts with your hydrogen, right? And then your hydrogen breaks off from ammonia, right? फिर क्या बनता है? The final product that you get is CH3, C double bond O, with an NH2 plus HCl, because ये पूरा HCl का molecule बनाता है, right?
Yes.
ठीक है, so ये जो HCl है हमारे पास, this can be an excess, ठीक है? And if it is in excess, it's going to react with your NH3 right? NH3 भी हमारे पास excess में है. So this HCl reacts with NH3 to give you NH4Cl.
Yeah.
This is salt. Okay, now we do the reaction with ethanol. Now I'm going to move really quick because we've already done 4 of these. अब इधर ester form होगा, right? Because this breaks off.
Yeah.
Cl breaks off. इसमें से H breaks off,
Oh,
right?
breaks off. Okay.
Now for the mechanism. Acyl chloride आ गया. Then we have our ethanol.
It's supposed to be opposite, right?
What?
It's supposed to be addition and then elimination, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. There addition hai because this molecule is getting added and Cl is getting eliminated, right?
Yeah.
Elimination because of chlorine. Either you have a hydrogen left. अब ये जो hydrogen है, either we will have an extra added step. Why? Because when the chlorine breaks off, the chlorine will react with the hydrogen that you have, right? It's going to form a dative bond with the hydrogen, and hydrogen will then break off, and you have the final product as CH3 C double bond or CH2 CH3 and HCl. Okay, this is what you get as your final product. Okay, now this is your ester. Okay. Now the last reaction is with a primary amine. CH3 C double bond. इसमें delta negative, delta positive. ठीक है. Primary amine is going to get added. CH3 NH2 and yeah, this is your primary amine because one hydrogen has been replaced by a methyl group. ठीक है. Now this is going to get added in the first step
Mm-hmm.
ठीक है, will form a dative bond. So this nitrogen has a lone pair. Nitrogen will form a dative bond with this. Oxygen के electrons इधर चले जाएंगे for the time being.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have CH3, CO,
Mm-hmm.
and Cl,
Yeah.
and 2 hydrogens, 1 methyl group.
Mm-hmm.
This is your primary amine. ये हो गया elimination step. Here you're going to show that your chlorine is getting eliminated, right? Bond breaking heterolytically.
Yeah.
Oxygen's electrons coming back.
Back. Yeah.
Right? Next step is so let's make hydrogen either so it's easier to react it with chlorine. Hydrogen को इधर बना देते हैं, एक इधर and your methyl group here. Now this is your Cl minus. So your chlorine with the lone pair reacts with hydrogen, right? Hydrogen breaks off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hydrogen breaks off.
Breaks off.
And this forms the final product, which is CH3, double bond O, and CH3. Now we have only one hydrogen left. Why? Because एक hydrogen ने Cl के साथ HCl बना लिया, right?
A bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, that's about it. And इसका ionic equation, because this can also be an excess, so the extra ionic equation that you need to write is H plus Cl minus giving you HCl, right?
HCl. Yeah.
Now we're done with acyl chlorides. We are going to start with amines.
Okay.
Okay. So amines में functional group is your NH2, right?
Yeah.
Let's just do a little introduction sort of a thing. ये R group है, which can be any hydrocarbon. Could be a methyl group, ethyl, कुछ भी, ठीक है? These amines were originally extracted from plants. Okay, nothing to learn about that, it's just sort of an introduction. And these are some examples. इसमें से you need to learn these 4 DNA के examples, ठीक है? इसमें से the first one is adenine, thymine, cytosine. ठीक है?
Yeah.
These are examples of amines, ठीक है? And some other examples are nicotine, caffeine, and hypnotics or narcotics. but ये वाले learning के, ठीक है? They might ask you in questions. Now we move on to the classification of amines. Here, this the first one that we have is 1R group replaced by
secondary.
basically
It.
this is your NH3, right? अब NH3 से amines बनते हैं.
Yeah.
So if I replace one hydrogen with a methyl group with an R group,
Primary.
then I have two hydrogens left, right? So this is going to be my
Primary.
Yeah. Now when I have two R groups, I'll have one hydrogen left. This gives me a secondary amine. And lastly, all three hydrogens replaced by R groups. This gives me
tertiary.
Exactly. Okay, so we're done with the classification. Now we'll do a bit of naming.
Okay.
We'll do some difficult examples as well. Like an exam में थोड़े easy पूछते हैं, but just for practice. So let's start with primary amines first. Primary amines में we could have CH3 and H2. Second one we could be Yeah. So how do we name all of these? This will be a methylamine because this is one group, right?
Yeah.
One carbon co-methylamine. This has two carbons. This is going to be
Ethyl.
right. And three carbons will be
Propyl.
right. And it goes on. Okay. The next one will be butadiene, which will have CH3, CH2, CH2,
CH2,
CH2 again, and then
CH2.
NH2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And then it keeps going. Now we move on to secondary amines. Secondary amines where we could have CH3, NH, again CH3. We could have CH3, NH, CH2, CH3, and okay. So let's see how these are going to be named. Just give it a shot. मुझे बताओ ये कैसे name करें.
The first one I think will be dimethylamine.
The first one will be
Dimethylamine.
Yes, very good. What about the second one?
Dimethylethylamine.
Why will you say dimethyl? Di तो नहीं है. There's just one methyl. And one ethyl group, right?
Okay, yeah.
Di
Okay.
कब use करते हैं? When you have two same groups,
Two
right? So you have two methyl groups here, right? Either it's going to be ethyl, methyl, amine. ठीक है? And this ये कि एथिल पहले आएगा या मेथिल पहले आएगा, दैट यू गोइंग टू सिलेक्ट थ्रू द अल्फाबेटिकल ऑर्डर. एम पहले आता है, ई पहले आता है?
E.
E, right? So you're gonna start with ethyl. Let me just write it here. Ethyl methyl amine. ठीक है? Now this
Yeah.
one has a methyl group and a propyl group, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to name this?
Methyl propyl amine.
Very good. What about this one? So this is
Benzene.
a phenol,
Phenol. Yeah.
and this is a methyl.
Methyl phenyl.
Amine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you have a phenol ring, what thing you need to add extra in the name is an N. Okay, so how you're going to write this is going to be N methyl phenyl amine. And this N here represents this N, right?
So why
Now,
not the other ones then?
because these are aliphatic compounds, right? These are straight chain compounds. This way we have a benzene ring, right? So whenever you have a benzene ring, you just add an N to your compound name.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we move to tertiary amines. Name this for me.
Trimethyl.
Very good. What about this one?
N dimethyl phenylamine.
Very good. In the one more thing, in your secondary amines, right?
Yeah.
Secondary amines where for phenols, benzenes, you add one N, right? But in tertiary, for phenols, for benzene, you will add two N's, okay? And in the primary ones, you're not gonna add anything, okay? So it works this way.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So this is going to be N, comma N, dimethylphenylamine. And why do we have two N's?
Because it's tertiary.
Right. Dimethyl because we have one methyl, two methyl, phenyl yera, and this is an amine, right?
Okay.
Naming ho gaye. Do you have any questions with the naming?
No question.
Okay, great. Now we move to let's just do one more example for naming and then we'll move to the physical property. Okay, very easy example. CH3 इसके बहुत सारे names हो सकते हैं, that is why I'm focusing on this example, ठीक है? CH3, CH, CH3 and this will be NH2. अच्छा, first मुझे बताओ कि what's the classification of this amine?
This is primary.
Right. ठीक है? Now you could name this
Yeah.
as aminopropane. How can you name this as aminopropane? Because ये आपका
Because
amine group आ गया and these three C's.
a propane. Yeah.
Exactly. ठीक है? So one naming could be done this way. Another name for the same compound could be 2-aminopropane. And why do you think we can name it this way?
Because it's on the second cup.
Exactly. This is first, this is second, this is third. ठीक है? Now the third name could be 2-methyl ethyl amine. How can we name it this way?
This I don't know.
Okay, look. So look at it as an amine, and then we say कि this is your second carbon, right?
Yeah.
चाहे इधर से count करो या इधर से count करो, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if this is your second carbon, the second carbon पे क्या attached है?
H.
नहीं ना,
No,
second
NH2.
your methyl group is
Yeah.
attached, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
ठीक है? So this could be named this way कि your methyl group is attached. Another reason for this naming could be this is your amine. So we get this part, right?
Yeah.
Now we have a methyl group and an ethyl group, right? So your methyl group could be this with one carbon.
Yeah.
Ethyl group क्या हुआ?
Okay.
The one with two carbons, right? And
Yeah.
all of this is attached to your
Amine.
major group, that is your amine. ठीक है? So your major group comes in the end, amine आ गया, and it's
Yeah.
2-methyl ethyl. Get it?
Yeah. Yeah. And why is it amino?
What?
Why is it aminopropane and 2-aminopropane?
We know this is an amine, right? So amine तो आएगा.
Yeah.
Like here we were taking it as,
Alkane. Okay.
right? So if you consider it as an
Yeah.
alkane, so you'll add your additional functional group as an amino, right? And if you're taking this as an amine, you're going to add your extra functional group as ethyl, methyl, butyl. Get it? So either
Okay.
you take it as an amine or you take it as your alkane, right?
Okay.
But whatever you take it as, उसके हिसाब से you need to add your functional groups. Alkane की तरह ले रहे हो, you're going to add an amino. If you're taking it as an amine, you're going to add ethyl, methyl, butyl. ठीक है?
Okay, fine.
But they're going to ask you only one naming style in the exam. तो सारे याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. I'm just like practice के लिए I'm making you write this. ठीक है?
Okay.
All of these are correct. कोई भी एक you can write.
Okay.
ठीक है? One can be and how can we say
Yeah.
this? Because this is an amine and propane
Yeah.
how? 1, 2, 3.
2 and 3.
Right? तो propane and second carbon पे amine का group है.
Yeah.
Right? So it's propane 2 amine. Right?
So if I write A and E in the end, then it's and then I write amino.
No, if you're taking it as a propane का पूरा molecule, देखो, this and this are reverse of each other. ये वाला and ये वाला. इसमें you're taking it as an
Yeah.
amine, so you're adding a propan.
Mm-hmm.
इसमें you're
Yeah.
taking it as your alkane, propane, so you're adding an amino. This is what I meant by saying कि
Okay.
either you take it पूरा compound एक amine की तरह ले लो, so you're going to add methyl, butyl, etc.
Yeah.
And if you take the whole of it as an alkane, so you will have to add
Amino.
amino because तुम्हारे पूरे alkane में, for example, CH3, CH2, blah blah blah, में कोई amino group attached है. This is your attachment, right? And in this case, you will have an amine जिस पे
Mm-hmm.
your methyl ethyl is attached. ठीक है? So it just
Okay.
depends on how you take it to be. ठीक है? But whatever you take
Mm-hmm.
it to be, उसके हिसाब से write your additional functional group. Get it? अमाइन के
Okay.
साथ अमाइनो नहीं ऐड करना एंड एल्केन के साथ मेथिल ब्यूटिल नहीं ऐड
Mm.
करना, राइट? अमाइन के साथ मेथिल ब्यूटिल,
Wow.
एल्केन के साथ अमाइन.
Okay.
Okay, now we're done with this. I'll just write a few pointers for naming.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, in this case,
Mm.
you've named it as 2-amino ethanoic acid. The list of precedents, I'll give that list to you. उसके अंदर you need to see कि first कौन सा आता है, right? So in the list of precedents, your amino group comes above your,
Carboxylic acid. Okay.
ठीक है? So when you see the precedence वाली list, you will realize कि amino group, because it comes above, so you're going to write your amino ऊपर, ठीक है? And if you don't remember the precedence list alphabetically, amino comes before
Ethanoic acid. Okay.
ethanoic acid, right? अगर ये butanoic acid होता तो भी बाद में ही आता, right?
Yeah.
Because A के बाद B आता है, A के बाद E आता है, right? So amino ethanoic acid, and why do we have a 2? Because second carbon पे you have both of these
All of
attached.
it.
Second carbon पे ही ethanoic acid, second carbon पे your amino group, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do we mean by lower and higher amines? Lower amines means your methyl, ethyl, butyl group, and higher amines means a higher number of carbons, like your 7 carbon group, 8 carbon group, 9 carbon group, and so on. Okay, so when you have lesser carbons,
Okay.
they smell like ammonia, and when you have higher amount of carbons with your
What
amine,
is the range of fluorocarbons? Like 1, 2, how many?
it's not very specified, but you could say it's around 1 to 4 carbons.
Okay.
Okay. And your higher amines may the odor becomes okay. These
Okay.
are amines with 4 C's or higher.
Okay.
Okay. And this could be then 3 C's.
Okay.
Okay. And aryl amines have an oily smell. What do we mean by aryl amines? These are your benzene ring amines. For
Okay.
example, it could be NH2 attached to your pura benzene ring. Okay, this is an aryl amine, and you name it
Yeah.
as phenyl amine. Okay.
Okay.
Now we talk about the boiling points.
We can't write a benzene ring as benzylamine or something, right?
No, actually, because when you're doing any sort of naming,